Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the third season of the NASCAR Class C Maconi Fixed Series. This evening, we're excited to bring you action from the top split for the weekly Strength of Field race for the virtual Martinsville Speedway here in Ridgeway, Virginia. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the top split of the Maconi C Fixed Series, the Road to Pro Series, as well as for Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth once again is Arkham Art Series racer Brandon Laster. Noah Rempel is working the controls as our producer tonight, using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Brayden, Martinsville is tight. It's tough. And it's typically caution-filled, especially with these heavy trucks. With that in mind, what can we expect to see tonight for the S.O.F race?
Yeah, these trucks coming in at a little over 3,400 pounds definitely makes them almost like driving a dump truck and very difficult to get around this tight track here. Coming in at just over half a mile. We're going to see a lot of beef, both on and off the track, hot dogs and fish, a little bit of both, I'm sure. And, when you go short track racing, especially in such a tight point series like the C Fixed Truck Series here, I mean, anything can happen, and it's been a lot of chaos the past couple weeks, and we're nowhere near out of the running for that yet.
And tonight, in turn, could be a wild one with the 60 laps on the docket here at Martinsville Speedway. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to details later on. But currently, the drivers are in the midst of qualifying. Entering this week, J-Bo started off the week as the points leader for this season. He's right now your top driver in this split tonight. Just a 40-point advantage entering the week over a couple surprising drivers. David Snook getting ahead of Jacob Snyder early. Joe Armstrong is amongst the top five. Jordan Brickley also amongst the top five of the point standings entering this evening. Amongst the other drivers to keep an eye on, sixth place in the points, yet to qualify. Nathan Lyons is also amongst those entered tonight. So a lot of the drivers looking to take advantage of a short track to get great points.
Yeah, talking about the points, it's been a very chaotic start to the season. We started out with Bristol week one, then we went to Coda, a road course, turning left and right. And then last week was a little bit normal for once going to Chicago, then we're right back in the swing of the short track scene. A lot of short tracks in the schedule. We go to Dover week 7, North Wilkesboro week 10. So they're not exactly clear. So this season, though, a lot of shaking things up. We follow the railroad schedule for parts of it, and then, early on, though, like Chicago, man, we kind of, during the off weeks of the road trucks, we kind of pick and choose where we go. So, if you're a good road course guy, we got a race for you. If you're a good short track guy, this season's made for you. Then you got Talladega. A lot of things, though, to pick and choose a favorite, but putting together a championship run is the key. See a lot of guys here riding on board with, I'm not sure exactly who this is, but try and get every ounce out of qualifying, because you go to a short track like this, you want to maximize your points. You do not want to have a bad race at all. And I think the key to winning here, not a good qualifying, man. I was bright on the Lindauer.
I think you have to put a key. That's one of your keys right there. Getting loose off turn 2.
100%. I didn't really mention those. Starting up front, having a great qualifying spot is going to be a huge key to having a good finish. Lindauer, they're going to be rolling deep in the field after wrecking on his fast lap. Actually didn't set a time, I believe, his first lap, but not wrecking. That's going to be a huge part of your race tonight. It's very easy to lose rear grip, both early in the run and late in the run. Almost more so than that right front. We're going to take a look at what you did.
Yeah, a lot of drivers, I was going to say, to be able to be fast here, you need to be able to cut off the corner. Being able to cut off the corner, especially in the fixed race, is getting good rotation. If you rotate too much, you spin. And that seems to be a trait potentially tonight. Open and fixed regardless of that. That's been a trouble spot. Drivers still get the diamond line down if they want to get good timing down, because without that run off the corner, that's a difference of a tenth or two per lap.
Yeah, you want to maximize every single corner here. One mistake, to get pushed to the high side, is you're going to open the door, and depending on how long of a green flag run, we don't expect too many green flag runs here tonight, but it's kind of depending on how long of a run you get. If you get stuck on the outside, you can go from third or fourth to the back very, very quickly. It's very hard to find a hole, especially if you get in the train after a restart. I feel like the restart's slow. We're going to see a lot of them tonight. Our keys as far as making up spot, maximizing the restarts. If you're rolling off ninth, you're able to pass the guy starting eighth because he's on the outside. So trying to maximize that restart too. If you're back in the pack and trying to make your way up through the field is going to be key.
For those tuning in for the first time for these types of broadcasts, yes, you, the very you, sitting at your computer, your TV, whatever you're watching from, your microwave, maybe your fridge, something along those lines. You can join the races seen each and every hour, past 15 minutes from the top of the hour. To learn more, go to iRacing.com. All you need is a license of C or higher in terms of safety rating to run the trucks. Here this week at the Paperclip. Let's find out which drivers are about to test their safety ratings and their S.O.Fs here. It's Jabo on the pole. Justin Patello setting the pole time by half a second, half a tenth in fact, over David Snook. Eli Hinton qualifies third. For the first time we've seen him in this time slot, he'll start alongside one of the youngest drivers in the field, the rear-wheel drive for diversity contender, Nathan Lyons. Joe Armstrong starts off fifth alongside Jeffrey Maconi, one of two drivers with perfect attendance for these races this year. Joey Braun starts in the next row. He'll be alongside the Clouser racing machine of Tanner Thomas. Speaking of Clouser, he starts off in ninth. Blake Clouser alongside Eli Carter, your top 10.
Jonathan Evans will be run off 11th, one of only 4 drivers to lead a lap in the broadcasted races this season. Brad Newman to his outside in 12th, Jason Beckman in 13th, Gavin Gleisman, we've seen him quite a bit here on the Maconi platforms in the C Fixed Series in 14th. Kyle Bartle is in 15th, Chris Dupree in 16th, Nick Kaufman, not Nick Hoffman, but Nick Kaufman in 17th. Andrew Lutz, he had a eventful last time slot for him in 18th. Philip Dorsum 19th. Elliott Parlett elected not to take a time. Don't know if that was by choice or not. He's going to run off 20th. Kyle Goodbutt in 21st. Shane Good in 22nd. And Bryden Mendauer, we saw his qualifying lap or lack thereof rolling off in 23rd.
That's a look top to bottom at the running order here tonight from Martinsville Speedway. Talk about your race analysis for tonight. Once again, 60 laps your distance. You're around this 0.53 mile facility. Martinsville Speedway, of course, with a track width of just 55 feet. So a lot of drivers expect to dive along to send it to the inside. These drivers also will be working around the facility, trying to wrap the bottom throughout much of the race. The track temperatures as well are fairly cool. 72 degrees the air temp for the start, 74 the track temp. Expect that to stay around that, if not get a little hotter for track temp, but drop air temp with it being a night race here just past 8 p.m. in Sim. We talked about some of the keys to victory already. Braden for Martinsville Speedway this week. Who do you think will get the job done tonight?
I think Jabo starting up front is a huge factor here. He won the last time slot top split race. He's been practicing all week. He comes into the night as your points leader. I could go with Jabo.
We'll see if that ends up being the right call, as looks to try and control the field from the point. Next time by, expecting the green flag. 23 drivers in this S.O.F. race. Tonight's S.O.F., the average I rating, 4,278. Essentially, that is the highest out of all the registered groups. Hundreds of drivers registered for this time slot, just to have the chance to run a little bit of racing here at Martinsville Speedway. Speaking of which, just about set to go racing. Pace car is off. Justin Patello in control. David Snook on the outside. Green flag is out. Let's go racing for Martinsville. Good start for David Snook. More trouble as it's loose time. Half the field getting collected out of turn 4. Dorsum and more. And as expected, caution flag is out. Gavin Gleitzman tries to go backwards. What did we just talk about? Loose conditions, cold tires. Drivers expect to spin from the get-go.
Yeah, didn't really have any grip in her tires. We're going to get a replay here. It all starts with our very own Jeff Maconi running just inside the top 10. Started inside the top 10, 6. You just see him running the outside line coming out of turn 4. Just around he goes like a ballerina, and no one that really around him can do anything. Thomas in contact, Gavin Gleitzman. Newman does a good job of getting around it. Jonathan Evans, too. A lot of heavy damage. We saw this last time the C Fixed Series came to Martinsville. See all that chaos, all that carnage. They're only going about 100, not even that really, probably at that point of exit, maybe 90. So the damage, even though it looks pretty bad, you got guys getting airborne. I mean, they're going to lose a bumper cover, but it's not going to be a race ending by any means. I mean, you can actually still be very competitive. You know, unlike Chicago and last year, where any damage can really hurt you aerodynamic-wise, it's tracking more about mechanical grip than anything. So,
yeah. There is one driver with meatball flags from that. Tanner Thomas, the driver who is to the inside of Maconi. Now, a lot of conversation about the 3-wide on the radio. That might have happened regardless. The 3-wide watched the 3. Maconi got loose. Might have been potential the incident, but it's still the loose factor you're talking about. Nowhere for Gleitzman and company to go.
Nick Kaufman, actually in the 9 truck, was going to spin out regardless of that. He's minding his own business, had a little bit of help from Philip Dorson. We saw it there at the end of that replay. So they had contact anyway, so there was already going to be a huge stack up coming out of the corner. Kyle Goodbow around also. And then Bryden Lindauer, we talked about starting in the back. Not only is it terrible track position, but you're going to have to try and make it through all the carnage. This has become a filled parking lot very quickly, and Lindauer has some heavy front end damage after not really having anywhere to go.
So currently, 55 laps to go at the stripe. The drivers currently pace themselves around here after more updates here with the iRacing service the past couple days as well. For those who haven't checked their inboxes, the iRacing driver survey coming out today. A lot of questions pertaining to the oval sign in particular when discussing things with some of the drivers. Among some of the topics, get feedback, the tires, the tire wear, but also choose cones and restart zones as well as stage cautions. As part of some of those discussions, trying to get the feedback from the community entering this week.
Yeah, I think those restart zones are going to be very tricky for a lot of these guys, so I'm glad you brought up that point there. As you see J-Bo getting ready to send it once again. David Snook did an awesome job at last restart, getting to the inside to see if he can do it again.
So as these drivers get ready for the restart, it's J-Bo to the inside still. David Snook still holding on to a top 2's position. Once again, J-Bo, the control truck, good launch, and already a slam to the door to the inside. Eli Hinton forces up David Snook. That was a tight squeeze in the first place. It's 3 wide for the top 3. Here we go. What's bump and bang? Joe Armstrong saves it in the express truck.
Nathan Lyons also up inside the top 5, currently running 4th. He's going to be on the inside trying and get around David Snook as well. Eli Hinton, though, currently running 2nd, saw a gap. It was the smallest of gaps, but he decided he was going to fill it and send it going and turn one on that restart. He's going to take over that 2nd spot for David Snook.
As people have talked about all week, if gap car, or in this case, if gap truck, that seems to be the main focal point amongst your front runners. Here's the side-by-side, though, building up amongst those with Klauser inside. Outside, that's Joey Braun, currently battling for about the 6th position. You can defend outside. It should be worth noting, Braden. It requires a lot of pinching, though, and people don't like to get pinched here.
No, especially you don't really know how long these green flag runs are going to last. You want to try to maximize as much battle and on-track position as you can get. So Joey Braun trying to pinch off Blake Clouds. A little bit of contact, but that's almost getting turned by Joe Armstrong. This battle really heating up right on board with Armstrong now. He's going to get pinched off the inside of Eli Carter into his door. These 4 or 5 guys are really starting to heat up here.
One of the newer members, Believe for Express Sports, trouble. Caution flag, turn 2. It's Jason Beckman going around in one of the UC Irvine paints. That University of California Irvine truck already had a lot of damage beforehand. It adds maybe a touch bit more here.
Actually, he's going to get away fairly clean. Just a simple self-spin. I see here on the replays, goes in the corner and loses rear grip. I mean, no help needed, no contact. No one was really around. Just went a little too hot, a little out of the groove, and around he goes. It's hard to wheel 3,400 pounds of absolute American-made horsepower around here. I'm not gonna lie.
He was already massively loose, too, because of the damage. That's the thought with the right rear. And bye-bye.
Yeah, 600 plus horsepower these trucks have, so it's very easy. You want to get on the throttle as quick as you can, but you want to try carrying, maximize the momentum too, and maximize a little too much. A lot of guys, though, taking the opportunity coming down the pit road. We've only ran 5, maybe 6 caution or green flag laps. The rest have been under caution for the most part, so I don't think it can be a huge tire difference. Now, I think a good strategy would have been if we run another 10, 15 laps, come down, throw some freshies on. If you're going to be in the back, you might as well anyways, and maybe help yourself and try to get some track position. But I think a lot of guys saw, that guy go in the corner just to kind of lose the rear tires and not really have the rear grip he wanted. I think it kind of scared a couple people.
Pit stop deltas you see at the bottom of your screen. A lot of drivers with repairs up to as much as 30 seconds. Remember, not a lot of time to be able to get that damage fixed because the size of the racetrack. J-Bo, Hinton, Snook, and Lyons, currently your top 4. Already, though, Andrew Lutz, to be expected, making his way through the field. Lutz is somebody we've seen do well at short tracks and as well win these races before. He's somewhat of a regular at this point. He's in the top 10 from 18th.
He's having a real good run. Last time we saw him, though, he was running Bristol, and unfortunately, I believe it was a DNF for him there. Only able to do a handful of laps, but he's running real good. We talked about him quite a bit last season, too. He was always a short track favorite. So far, he's not having a whole lot of fun this week with the C Fixed Series in Martinsville, but currently up 8 spots, one of the biggest movers of the race.
Continuing to get ready for the restart here. Right now, J-Bo at the front. He's one of the drivers, actually, in a lot of these S.O.F races who hasn't found his way to the lead before. Well, tonight, so far, he's been able to get all the laps led, 15 consecutive. Restart zone on the front straightaway, back underway at the start of the box. No one goes on the outside, and Snook blocks off the inside.
Almost identical to the same move we saw Eli Hinton do on David Snook at last restart. Snook going to pull the reverse Uno card, and Snook the second.
Oh, 3 wide to the heart of the field. Closer backs out of it. Now he gets loose. He nearly wrecks it, puts himself in the wall. They are trying to wreck in the back. No caution yet, dead last. Chris Dupree spins it around. We stay green.
Dupree going to be able to get it going straight again. No caution yet. He's going to get back up to speed. Keep it green. Flag racing for now. J-Bo with I don't want to say commanding lead, but coming in at just about half a second over David Snook.
Let's see what happened there real quickly. Calamity at first glance.
Dupree's going to go ahead. Oh, contact with Lindauer. Lindauer started in the back. We got one spinning, though. Right in front of Maconi. A lot of guys, that's Armstrong, I think, goes around. Bartles, Andrew Lutz, Brad Newman, Eli Carter, all with some heavy contact coming through 3 and 4. Chris Dupree, as I was going to say, was slow, like dead slow, going down the back straightaway. Guys were just trying to get around him. I think Dupree was trying to come in the pits. I don't know if some guys kind of missed their braking marker.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. Well, Armstrong definitely missed a braking mark. He tried to get to the inside of Hinton, but was not there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the strategy was. I think Armstrong saw a gap, went for it, and it closed up a lot faster than he expected, and kind of got on the brakes so harder than not spin out Hinton, and in turn spins themselves out. And everyone else kind of piles in there. And so far, though, everyone did a real good job of getting it back going and keeping it straight. We honestly could have stayed green from that, I feel like.
And that ends up stacking a lot of drivers up. No meatball flags from that outside of Dupree from his own spin. And Braden Lindenauer, who's currently already fixing chassis damage, who fixed the meatball flag. Brad Newman has not had some good luck in that lobs machine. Every time he's been looking for a lob, like his hood says, he's not only missed the lob pass, everyone else seems to have tried to slam dunk it on his head.
And Newman moves in a little bit. We saw him last week at Chicagoland. Actually had a top 10 run, finished 8th. But a lot of guys, they're going to see a lot of heavy damage on these trucks. Not really heavy, but maybe some minimal. Maybe the bumper caved in. Maybe the hood a little messed up. Maybe the whole bumper cover is missing. We talked about this a little bit beforehand. Having a missing bumper cover isn't really that bad at a track like Martinsville. You don't really rely on aerodynamics a whole lot here. Yeah, they help, but you're going to be more worried about mechanical grip, getting in the corner, not overdriving the corner. And, I mean, J-Bo so far, I think, is on one with a clean truck by virtue of no one's really been around him. So far, it's been the J-Bo and J-Bo only show, and no one else has been invited.
How long that lasts may come down to if he even comes down to the pit lane. We've seen drivers win races by no pitting in this type of a tempo of race. Already a third of the way through the action. Reminder, once again, tonight's action brought to you in part by iRacing. Relied on its training tool by countless professional drivers, iRacing is unrivaled as a racing simulator because its creators have managed to capture every last car and track detail and recreate them in a package that perfectly encapsulates the feeling of being behind the wheel of a race car, pushing its mechanical limits on courses designed to test the driver's skills and mental acuity. And the industry agrees. Visit iRacing.com to sign up and become a member today. Coming up towards the halfway mark pretty soon. And in the world of iRacing 2, as you may know, a console game coming up, Braden. Today, on social media, iRacing released how some of the graphics will look for the garages, in fact. And people are excited because, well, that's a rarity in console gaming these days.
Yeah, actually getting a screenshot of the game and they're actually looking good. A huge shocker. So iRacing did a real good job there. Just like these guys are getting ready to go back at it. Green flag racing, hopefully for the last time.
I'm not going to hold you to that. We're back underway inside a better launch. Joey Braun, who was bounced around earlier, up to second all of a sudden. David Snook loses the spot for the outside groove.
Yeah, starting on the outside of the front row seems to be a death wish for not really for a lot of these guys. We're going to lose that spot regardless. Joey Braun does an excellent job.
Here we go.
Well,
this is why I didn't want to hold you to it. That's Kyle Goodbout who was involved in that one. But the main trigger is truck number 12. This replay is going to be something. He was alongside Brad Newman trying to give him a slam dunk posterizer. Instead, he got posterized himself.
Yeah, a lot of heavy damage. See Maconi involved. See involved. Thomas. It's all guys going around for a spin like a ballerina. But I don't know if we can give the 12 of Kyle Bartles there the Mailman Award for shipping it, or that was definitely a good ship though.
And Kyle Goodbout's not had a good past couple races. Full disclosure, raced him in C Open prior to this broadcast. He did not survive that race either.
You say either, did you not survive it either?
Oh, I survived it. He got black flagged on the last lap.
Definitely not a good way to want to go out. We don't really see the incident point limit come into play at a whole lot of races we go to. 17 incident points is a drive-through, I believe, and then 25 is a DQ.
Yep.
Although tonight, we're going to see that come into play maybe for a handful of guys, especially towards the end of this race. A couple 4Xs here and there. And what I mean, we talked about, damage isn't going to be that catastrophic, but the incident points are going to hurt you more in the long run than anything.
Evans getting at least a 4X or so from all that contact, but surprisingly little damage. Both drivers not electing to take it down as to be expected. It's approaching that halfway mark. So, with all that to be talked about here, Andrew Lutt's now up to the 7th spot for the upcoming restart with the cut through. Also, you talk about the memes. Jonathan Evans, we've seen his hood logo for a long time. Believe he added to the meme because he's added stuff involving Clint Boyer in 2013. And he's also mentioned stuff on the side involving the tires, if you look on the doors.
He's also Cody Johnson's #1 fan.
Apparently, there's Cody Johnson with a Z. But regardless, Cody Johnson with a C and with a Z, looking to try and pump him on up. He's currently 16th. He needs a lot of pump up because he had taken 2 pit stops already for damage.
Maybe just come down and get a good old Martinsville hot dog. I think that's why. I don't think it's getting any damage fixed. I think it's Cruz giving him a virtual hot dog.
Yeah, you gotta love a good old Martinsville hot dog, especially with the size, but also the amount that people get. Correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere in the hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of hot dogs per race here?
I can't give you an exact hot dog to pound ratio, but I know they do sell upwards about the 40 or 50,000 by my recent calculations. I do have an Indiana high school education, so.
Well, We're getting ready for the restart, and David Snook is now jacking up the back end of Justin Patello, so things are going good. David Snook looking to provide some pressure as one of the championship rivals now to J-Bo. His first appearance in this time slot, after all, is tonight. To the restart zone, J-Bo, Braun, back underway. Here comes David Snook. He wants second back. Nathan Lyons waits on the outside, tries to sort it out in the Roger Carruth truck.
That line we talked about in real life drive for diversity driving the NASCAR combine.
Here we go!
Right behind, hitting around. He's gonna get it going straight. Carter, not so much. And this should be a caution, not yet. Everyone keep it going, get it going. 3, 4, 5 wide down the straightaway. We're not done wrecking them.
How was that not a caution? They're lucky. Now we got a caution. It's Jonathan Evans going around the next corner. 3 wide, multiple different layers deep. That was a punt in 5 meters or so.
I'm not really sure where to start, but that's going to be our 5th caution under the night. Ironically, it comes out to Jonathan Evans going around, not the 12 cars before him.
Eli Carter was the one with the contact behind initially to the back end. Let's take a look at this.
Lyons was so close to getting wiped out there and did a great job. And then see the truck there. Who is that? Eli Carter. It's Eli Carter that really goes around on the high side. And then he goes 3 or 4 wide, and Cody Johnson kind of gets cleaned out. I believe that was by Jason Beckman in the UC Irvine truck. We've seen him have his fair share of lack of grip tonight as well.
Yeah, that was eventful. That was a tight window to fit in, but they are very lucky, everybody is, that half the field didn't just pile into turn 4.
Yeah, they were 3 or 4 wide going down the straightaway. Some guys, went the smart route. They checked up for it, kind of let everyone get going again. Other guys said, man, we got 30 laps to go. It's go time.
Oh, that's well. Believe it or not, J-Bo lost the lead. Joey Braun has been slowly but quietly making his way back up after an initial battle before. He took the lead on the outside as everybody else crashed. J-Bo got zipped along. Nathan Lyons got chipped along and dropped back to 5th.
It'll be interesting to see how J-Bo deals with this. First time he's not started from the lead or restarted from the lead, so you're going to have to start in the kind of that second spot on the outside, not really where anyone wants to start. And he's going to fall back to 3rd, maybe even here, if David Snook can take advantage properly of this restart, and that's really going to set him back.
So again, under pacing, but our first lead change of the race. A lot of drivers elected to come down for pit stops for repairs. This caution, including Carter, Hinton, Lindenauer, also in the pit lane this time for damage repair is Kyle Bartles. So now J-Bo, for the first time, not the control truck. How does this change his approach to this? On the top is, let's take a look on our replay. This is how he lost the lead through 4.
A little bit of help from the 41 on your screen. I believe that was David Snook. Kind of loosened him up a little bit. I don't think that really had much to do with it, though. Just that little slip up low, that lack of rear grip, getting pushed around, took that split millisecond for J-Bo to get going again. Allowed Joey Braun to go around the outside. Pass him outside, how about that?
23 laps to go when the green flag flies again. We still have not had a single DNF. We haven't had anyone outside of Chris Dupree actually lose a lap this race. That says a lot, but also that says a lot in terms of the attrition rate not being enough to be race-ending yet. And we already have pushing to the inside. David Snook using the bumper already.
Might give Braun a penalty if he's not too smart about it. We'll have to see. I don't think he's going to. He should be good.
Green flag is out. No contact for the restart zone, but J-Bo wants his lead back. Justin Patello holds on to the outside. Braun clears by regardless. Fight is on for second. And Snook goes for the crossover. Back for the diamond and uses the bumper.
Jabo eager to get up to the lead. Snook as eager to get to the second place. Going to use the bumper, the chrome horns. Get to the inside of Jabo. Going into one. He should be able to clear him out of the two. Jabo fighting hard on the inside. Here comes Lions trying to get a piece of Jabo.
David Snook able to pass it. Jabo ships him. Justin Botello puts David Snook into the wall. Into second goes Nathan Lyons.
We're talking about a minute ago, a young gun from the, I believe, in Carolina.
Yes.
So a lot of
Texas, Texas originally, but now Carolinas.
Yeah, a lot of short track experience in the real world and sim world. Nathan Lyons, young gun, currently running second. I'm sure we're going to see him quite a bit in years to come, both on iRacing, I hope, and in the real world.
Now the fight's on behind them. This is for third. Lutz getting a little bit scrapey. Jabo already getting a little bit bumpy with the bumper. Jeffrey Maconi also rides on behind. You also throw it to this group on the outside. Joe Armstrong on recovery drive.
As Armstrong and Maconi, I think, have been in almost every accident in one way, shape, or form tonight. And currently fighting side by side for that fifth spot.
Still need to sort something out in the midst of all this, though. Lutz seems a touch bit quicker. Joe Armstrong is amongst the only drivers to take tires this race. Doesn't matter, caution flag is out. Tanner Thomas, Kyle Bartles making contact towards the back of the field.
A nice little green flag run there for these guys.
That was our longest run of the race. Let's see what happened. This was at the back of the pack.
Bartles definitely had a little bit of hope. Mainly started though, Bartles gets into Tanner Thomas, and you got Eli Hinton, who we've talked about quite a bit, not for good reasons though. Behind him, doesn't really expect that sudden checkup by Bartles. Around Bartles goes.
Here's Hinton. And there goes Hinton with the contact. That seemed almost like a check him up type of situation. But now, as they get ready for the restart, Nathan Lyons up to second. Remember the last time we were here at Martinsville Speedway in the fall? He was one of those contenders, the one of several from the rear world, who had a chance to win the race. That was a thrower back last fall.
Yeah, Lyons, he runs into a C Fixed here and there. Talked about him, or at least as far as the broadcast. Having a pretty good points run so far. Came into the night 6th in points, but as far as the broadcast races go, he did run last week in Chicagoland. DNF there for him. Early wreck. We talked about him though quite a bit. Running the short track scene. Joey Braun started 7th. We talked about moving up through the field. Started 7th in the lead. Andrew Lutz up 15. Started 18th. Currently in 3rd. He's had an eventful couple of races too this week for him. J-Bone 4th. He actually got, I was looking back, he did run the broadcasted time slot back at Bristol week 1, had a podium finish there, so not new to the short track scene at all. Joe Armstrong, an eventful night for him. Jeffrey Maconi in 6th. Elliott Bartlett up 13 to 7th. David Snook, he's going to have to try and rebound now for the first time being outside the top 5 for him after the send from Jabo. Blake Clouser, a driver we've talked about on and off to tonight in 9th. And Brad Newman, believe it or not, Brad Newman, back inside the top 10.
Coming up to 14 laps to go now for this one. Joey Braun having our pace lap before he gets the 1-to-go signal, so about 12 to go when we get back to racing. We talked about some of the drivers holding on to the top 10. Want to touch back upon the Lions part. You mentioned the real world experience. I think it's critical to talk about when you think about it from the virtual side too. But that side, Lions just 14 we talked about already. Coming off some solid runs. He's running legend cars at Florence this season. I believe that's South Carolina, correct?
Yes.
So we'll see.
There's 2 Florence speedways. You have Florence, Yaw, in Kentucky, which is a high-banked half-mile, I believe, dirt track, which I've had the luxury of racing and wrecking there. There's not many tracks that haven't wrecked that. And then you have Florence, South Carolina, where
yes,
a lot of asphalt guys get some good seat time. Very fun track. I've not raced there because I haven't wrecked there, shockingly. That's how that one works. But good track to get seat time. Nathan Lyons and Sergio upon a lot of good showings down there.
4/10 mile oval. He looks to try and get some showings down to the half mile. They're already scraping for the lead. they get ready for the restart. Joey Braun, control truck. Nathan Lyons outside. Lutz, Jabo. Maconi, Armstrong, Parlett, Snook, your top 8. Green flag out, 12 laps to go. Braun already clears, Lyons can't. Here comes Lutz for second.
Joey Braun continues to lead the train of hungry hippos. Lutz, though, fighting hard on the inside for that second spot over Lyons. So far, he's got it, but they're still going to be side by side. There's a bump from Armstrong. That's going to really upset Lutz. Lutz is going to get really squirrely rooted there. Lyons also upset Armstrong to the point.
Here we go.
Big in the back.
Caution flag is out. Maconi said hard into the corner. They are still 3-4-1 under caution. Jonathan Evans, Eli Carter get black flags for incident points on the incident. And it's time for potential penalties. That's how many drivers have picked up incidents tonight.
That's going to hurt a lot of guys. Jabo, a lot of heavy contact there. Maconi, hard.
This was a separate incident on the restart, apparently for the black flags. Somehow this wasn't the caution. Despite everyone's best efforts, especially Lindenauer, helping finish them off.
That was Jonathan Evans going around. He was going to beat them for that one. The second rack here, to see it all started kind of in that battle for second. Armstrong sends, I believe it was Lutz, and then Lutz and the Lyons, everyone gets upset, everyone checks up. Some guys not as much as others. Maconi with the worst of it there, getting some heavy contact. And talking about, it's hard to have a mechanical DNF here, but Maconi might be looking at it there.
Yeah, that was a lot of hard contact. You know, the thing is, as he was getting wrecked by 3 different trucks at the same time, he was busy apologizing for the cause of all that. The apology doesn't matter when, what else can you do?
Nah, Jeffrey Maconi looking like meat in a deli shop there. Just nowhere to go, getting stuffed from every side and angle. I mean, that's just part of short track racing.
There's the quote.
I had to say it. There's the quote. Quote it. Say it. Put it on a t-shirt.
Did Joey ever put it on a t-shirt after?
I don't think he did.
Okay. You know who's in second from all that? Joe Armstrong on fresher tires. He might have a chance to steal this.
Yeah, we saw him kind of be the catalyst for some of that chaos there, and Armstrong, a very regular competitor on the iRacing scene, not as much as the C Fixed side, I believe, but that's going to put him an ample opportunity, though, with those fresher tires, the restart on the outside. We've seen those outside starters kind of struggle a little bit just by virtue of being on the outside. Lyons, though, I think he's going to kind of remember, put that in the back of his head, hey, Armstrong's been kind of rough all night. I'm going to be starting kind of, roll back to the inside. Maybe if I see gap, go for it, as they say.
Pure chaos once again at the half-mile mayhem. After all, this is the place for chaos. Remember, Real World Racing coming here this weekend for NASCAR competition. How do you feel about the short track racing coming up here? We've seen a lot of tempers flare in real life for NASCAR Cup especially. Your expectations for that this weekend, for those wanting to see the real world equivalent of these races, including the trucks?
I think it's a great sneak peek. I mean, especially look at the truck series. Last year, I don't know which race it was, but I know last year the trucks Martinsville, they had the rain tire, the damp tires that put on a good show. And unfortunately, we don't have that yet for the trucks and iRacing. I'm sure that's going to be pretty fun to watch, though, if you ever get that. But Martinsville always puts on a good show. I mean, it's hard to beat it. There's not really many tracks like it anymore in the NASCAR schedule as far as actually like flat-ish for the most part, just hard short track racing. And Martinsville always puts on a good show. I think we'll see another one this weekend.
Joey Braun looking to hold on for 5 more circuits. Pending green-white checker territory. Joe Armstrong on fresher tires. All the way to the end of the restart zone. Here comes Lyons. He's on the bumper. Lyons. He moves Armstrong out of the way for a second. Now he looks for a poke for the lead.
Lyons doing everything he can. Armstrong picking to the inside. He's thought about using the chrome horns, not yet, but he's got a mirror full of David Snook who's using the chrome horns on Armstrong. We got 4 guys going for the lead. Lyons to the bottom. He's going to send it deep. Contact to later, Braun. Braun to the high side of Armstrong and Snook now battling for third. They're 3 wide for second.
David Snooks drove through the whole field. Now he looks for his second spot back. Tries to shuffle Braun all the way up the circuit. Already, Lions up by half a second nearly with 3 laps to go.
Lions leads the Chrome Horns, gets the lead, and he's going to try and drive away from the rest of the field. He's got less than a mile and a half to go. If he gets the white flag, that's a race. Still a couple laps to go, though. Nathan Lyons to the point, front and center.
Stu Busy battling for second, though. Snook, Armstrong trading bumps. Already one hit. Here comes another. Snook moved out of the groove. Caution flag is out. That's for the back of the field. Andrew Lutz got sent around from 18th. And it's green-white checkered territory to close it.
We're going to have one green-white checkered. So it's going to get real dicey, real spicy, real quick.
Tempers flaring. Andrew Lutz had 2 incidents in 2 laps, Braden. That was not a pretty sequence of laps.
Now I had some help from Kyle Bartles for one of those incidents. That's what brought out the caution. First incident there, just kind of get squirrely up in the wall, able to keep it going, nice little recovery, and then there's Kyle Bartles there in the 12 going in the corner. Get a replay here, that second. This is the one that brought out the caution. Fighting hard with the 12 machine, going into the corner, going in the 1. And I don't really know if it's just he expected Bartles to be a little bit lower. It almost looks like Lutz came down on him though, JP. I don't know what you think about that, but
yeah. Lutz did not have a good sequence, all that you can say.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Hard contact to the inside wall, but still no meatball flag. Brad Newman, in all that wildness, by the way, somehow picked up a black flag for incident points.
Yeah, tough rain for him, or tough race, I guess. I mean, because you can get a black flag for incident points and do your drive-through and be safe if you get it in the middle portion of the race. But this late, one green light checker, you're guaranteed to have a bad finish because you're not going to get a chance to get that lap back. So, go over the green light checkered rules. 2 laps, we got 1 attempt. If we get the white flag, that's a race, we're going for it. But we also get a caution, that's going to be the race. So, it's a race. I don't think we're going to get to the white flag, but basically we want to be out front if that caution comes up.
So now, this could get very much a firework field affair. We already seen a bump and run for the race lead. We've seen bump and runs for second. You have tempers flaring from the driver of 4th on back over the radio. What's the expectation? Because you have Lions looking to control things, the 14-year-old from Texas. Armstrong, one of the drivers from the eNASCAR College iRacing Series from Reynolds Community College. And then you have Joey Braun, who was leading for a good portion of his final laps of the race. Before then, the 21-year-old from Long Island, New York, trying to make his way back to the pack.
I mean, you remember Lions used not even the bumper, the door to pass Braun, with Braun being right in the back bumper. I'm sure he didn't forget. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Braun use the chrome horn to Lions, tries to upset him a little bit. Depending on how aggressive Armstrong is, there might not be any room to upset him. Might send him up the track, allow Braun to sneak by the inside. I'm sure Braun is playing every opportunity, every chance of what may or may not happen in his head, and he's going to pick something and stick with it. And we'll see what happens. We might also wreck on the restart here, 20 trucks deep, and Jeff from Maconi might come back from 3 laps down and win it. Who knows?
Well, there's only one restart. That's not possible unless every single truck gets out of the race.
I'm saying 20 trucks deep. Everyone's about to wreck your DNF.
Well, it'd be the race of all time if that happens. Remember, Brad Newman from 6th has to go to pit road before this race ends, or else that 4 truck is disqualified.
He's on the outside, too, so I'm interested to see him get down quick as he can here.
This is for the race. A mile to go. Nathan Lyons controls the inside. Outside, Joe Armstrong. Green, green, green. Armstrong times it. Can he get the run? Here we go!
Hard in the wall, Lions goes around. That's going to be a caution. That's going to be the race. I think Joey Braun got it. It wasn't clean by any means, but he got it, I think. We talked about he's going to use the chrome horns, and he's going to upset Lions. There wouldn't be any room because I think Armstrong was going to be on the outside, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
Caution is out. This is for the race as Nathan Lyons is not happy. Nathan Lyons, not happy, is trying to stop him. Oh, this isn't smart. And David Snook's got to stop here. This is a black flag if Snook crosses the line here.
Lions is chasing Braun across the track.
Did Snook just parked it and
they're trying to let Joey Braun by, but Nathan Lyons is blocking him. Leo Lyons doored him. I don't know where the as far as an incident point goes. Lyons hits a meatball too.
Wow. Joey Braun, regardless, is the winner. David Snook just, I think, parked it and finished 16th, or now 18th. What is going on?
I think David Snook got hit with an incident point there. After the race had come out, the beef is unreal over the radio. I know fans at home can't hear it. I'm not really sure what happened there.
Disqualifications galore. Tempers galore. Let's take a look at the last 2 laps on replay. Or specifically the restart. Joey Braun. He sent it all right. He sent it windshield deep.
And then, I mean, I don't think it would have been that bad necessarily. Not Lions, would have gotten shuffled out a lead for sure, definitely on the high side. But as Armstrong was there to take most of the blow, and Lions couldn't really collect it back up. And that was almost identical to the way I called it.
Tempers flaring, and then Nathan Lyons is like, you know what? I'm not happy.
I mean, he's doing brake checking down the whole backstretch to see a lot of the guys passing by. I don't know exactly if that was the cause of the caution for David, or for the penalty for David Snook, but he did get penalized there. I'm not sure what it was for. Snook had only 8 incident points, so I don't know if he got a penalty for beating someone or passing under yellow. I'm not exactly sure what the call was there.
Lots of tempers flaring on the radio. Amongst those who got disqualified on that final restart, Joe Armstrong, believe, had a black flag on in the sim. A couple others also ended up in that for the contact. And then I'm not sure what's going on with this.
I don't even really see anything under the penalty log, or the penalty log for David Snook.
And then he was going to win regardless.
Did he tow? Did he tow early?
So, tempers flaring. Lots to unpack. Let's take a break. When we come back, after everyone has a chance to cool down from a temper-flared madhouse, we'll look at the results. You're watching Maconi Entertainment and coverage here on iRacing social media platforms from Martinsville, where the paperclip went full paperclip.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competitive Zone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Martinsville, where while the temperatures may be cool, the temperature of the drivers is definitely somewhere in the red hot zone. Let's take a look at your race results again, with it being in sim race official. Remember, one of the options available in the protest option is the potential disqualifications post. We'll see if that comes into play after Joey Braun goes windshield deep to the inside and picks up the race win. Then chaos ensued. Blake Klauser survives the craziness to second. Elliot Parlett rounded out the top 3. Gavin Gleitzman, Nick Kaufman rounded out the top 5. Beckman, Philip Dorsum, amongst those who had to recover from Black Flag, finished in 7th. Eli Cutter 8th. J-Bone 9th position after being in the pole, on the pole and leading most of the way. Eli Hinton, he finishes 10 incident points deep in 10th.
Tanner Thomas going to be the first car outside the top 10 and 11th. Kyle Goodbout in 12th. Bryden Lindauer goes from last in the wall to the hot dog stand to the grandstands and to crossing the checkered or taking the checkered flag in 13th. Kyle Bartels in 14th. Shane Good in 15th. Andrew Lutz goes from back to the front to the back to the front and going to end up at the back in 16th. Chris Dupree, that's driver on the lead. That actually got that back there late in the race, 17th. David Snook. He towed before he crossed the line. He was going to get a penalty by being in front of Joey Braun dealing Nathan Lyons, and he stopped and must have assumed the race was over and towed. He would have been just fine letting Braun go on by and then crossing the line in second, but he's going to be credited with an 18th place finish. Nathan Lyons led late in this race, gets shipped to the hot dog stand and beyond. In 19th, Joe Armstrong as well in 20th, Brad Newman 21st, our very own Jeffrey Maconi perseveres, overcomes the damage to finish a whopping 3 laps down in 22nd, and Jonathan Evans, your only DNF, believe it or not, tonight in 23rd, 18 laps down.
He parked it after getting an incident point Black Flag. So a lot to talk about, again, on the official sheet, since it is an official race. Riverhead Raceway driver Joey Braun finished off with the victory here tonight. Those discussions just finishing up on the radio, but with the 9 caution affair, why don't we talk with one of the drivers, Jeffrey Maconi, standing on by. Jeff, you finished 3 laps down. That's the downside. On the bright side, the temperature seems pretty high, and you had a good popcorn seat to a good finish.
Yeah, it was quite the finish there. I got caught up in a late wreck, so early on I got spun around, and then I was back to like 18th, drove my way back up to 6th, and anytime I restart on the outside here, something always goes wrong, it seems. So there was that big checkup on the front stretch. I don't know what all happened, but then I checked up and I got run over by Snook, pushing from behind. I don't know if he got hit from behind or whatever. It was just pure chaos, and then I got J-Bo spun around, and it was all sorts of mayhem. And then I had like 4 minutes of damage when I was pulling back out onto the track to catch up to the field. It just was so broken that it spun out. So I barely managed to not kill the field there. But yeah, I got to see and listen to that craziness at the end. And I know it wasn't captured on the broadcast, but I cannot put into words how like vicious it was afterwards. Everyone's yelling at each other. People that weren't involved are throwing their hats in. It was very interesting. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of these drivers here next week based on what everyone was threatening with each other, but it was a lot of fun out there. I had a great time. Finish wasn't that great, but I certainly had a lot of fun.
You know, the best part of your night was that last wreck you're talking about, the 4 minutes of damage. I think you were apologizing on the radio while 3 different people were spinning you.
Yeah. I thought I really screwed up in that. I was like, I drove headlong into it. It was my fault. And then I went and looked at the replay, and it wasn't my fault. But I'm glad I apologized. I would rather apologize and it not be my fault than do something really dumb and it be my fault and say nothing. So, you know, I'll own up to it whenever I make a mistake. I drove in there a little bit hot, but as soon as I did check up, I got hit from behind and pushed into it further, and that spun J-Bo around, which sucks because I like racing with him. It's always a good time, and we race at the same time a lot. So hate to see that. Hate to see Lutz dragged up in it, but it was a really, really good time, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Jeff. Once again, fortunate for the result, but thank you for the insight.
Absolutely, and thank you to you guys for a great broadcast, and for everyone that was watching. I think this was probably our most watched show, and for pretty good reason, I would say.
It's going to be one of the more talked about ones after this one. A interesting finale to this one. Real quickly, Braden, your quick barometer on what we've seen break down. We're heading to Texas next week, after all. That's going to be a very different race, and remember, Texas ended up being one of the more featured races in last year's C Fixed broadcast slate after Colin Bowden followed his way to victory lane with a bump and run at Texas.
Yeah, going to be very interesting. Finally going back to some short track and normalness, I guess, in the C Fixed Series here for these guys. J-Bo, though, comes out of this race as your points leader. Then again, there's a couple more nights for him to get some good races and good points, and it's not just based off the broadcasted races. So J-Bo, though, looking to be an early championship favorite week 4 through this one.
We'll see how the rest of the week plays out for many of these drivers. If you want to join in on the fun, be sure to register on iRacing to be able to race in this series. But for now, it's time to thank the rain sponsor, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as iRacing, for allowing us to broadcast tonight's action once again here on Twitch and Facebook. Cover the action tonight, Justin Prince, myself. Alongside me was Braden Laster, with Nolan Ripple as her producer. Thanks once more to our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. We hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for next race. Thanks once again to the entire staff for bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.